On this episode of the Sofa Sports Podcast, we're going to be talking about the schedule predictions for the Washington Commanders. Last episode, we talked about the Ravens, Tyler's team. This week, we're talking about my team, the Washington Commanders. Let's start off with week 1 at the Bucks, 425. Tyler, what are you thinking here?
I think the Commanders are going to be good this season. I'm excited to see what they're going to put together. A lot of new pieces. So starting off week 1, I hope it clicks right away. Playing at the Bucks. Baker had a good season last year, but I do think the Commanders start off hot. I think we see the beginning of Jayden Daniels and all the potential that comes with him. 21-17, the Commanders get a win week 1.
Again, not too far off. I'm going to be 27-24 here. Washington. I think that we get off to a hot start. From everything I've seen on social media so far this offseason, Jayden Daniels has the least amount of crap being talked about him, which is always a great sign. I think that, projections for him are going to be higher and he will be more easily able to reach his expectations compared to a lot of the other quarterbacks, pretty much all the other quarterbacks in this year's draft. So that for that reason, I have us winning 27-24. In week 2, we're going to be home against the Giants. It's going to be a 1:00 game. I've got the Commanders edging out the Giants here, 20-13. What do you have to say?
I think it's a close game. I think it always is in a divisional matchup. Want to have the margin even wider, to be honest. 20-9, the Commanders win. I think the Giants are just, I'm not sure what they're going to do this season. Daniel Jones, how good is he going to be? Malik Neighbors does not seem super excited to be there. I don't have a lot of hope for this Giants team. And I think Jayden Daniels just continues to improve. I think they put it to him. Divisional matchup, get a win, start off 2-0.
Yeah, man, that's what I'm talking about. Week 3 here at the Bengals, Monday Night Football. I think it's going to be a bit of a different story. I've got the Commanders dropping this game here, 13-27. LSU quarterback versus LSU quarterback. Joe Burrow comes in, breaks a bunch of records, not only for LSU, but NCAA records. We've got Jayden Daniels following up behind Joe Burrow, breaking a lot of Joe's records at LSU. But I think Joe, with the experience, coming off the injury from last season, really trying to make a name for himself again, prove that he is back to that elite level. I think he comes out in a statement game here and just really owns the most recent LSU quarterback.
Week 3 under the lights, Jayden Daniels' first primetime game. This is so exciting. This is all that you want. Like you said, LSU. I want to take the Commanders so bad right here. I would love to see it. I think that it's going to be so much fun. This is going to be the first time a lot of people have watched Jayden Daniels play, so they're going to see what he's all about. He's got a lot of weapons, but so do the Bengals. I agree. I think the Commanders take their first loss here, 28-24. I think Jayden still keeps it really close, and that's not a bad performance against the Bengals, who we expect to be really good this year.
All right, week 4 now, coming off the tough loss to the Bengals in week 3. We're going to be at the Cardinals, 4:00 game. I've got the Commanders winning this game 27-20. I think that with the struggling receiving core of the Cardinals, that the secondary of Washington is going to be able to hold up. We already know that their run defense is going to be insanely good, so we should be able to stop them up front. And then I think Jayden Daniels has a good bounce back game after last week. What do you have to think?
I agree. Bounce back. Jayden Daniels shows what he's all about. I, in a previous episode, talked about how good I expect Kyler to be this season, and I do. But I think the Commanders get back on track here. 24-20. I think it's a close game, but overall, I don't have a lot of hope in the Cardinals, and there's a lot of optimism around the Commanders right now. So I like their chances here. I think that they get to 3-1.
Yeah, like you said, we've got the Commanders both at 3-1 after the first 4 weeks of the season. So heading into week 5, we're going to be playing the Browns at a 1:00 game. I think this is going to be a hideous game. I think that Jayden Daniels is going to be due for a bit of a slump game. I think the Browns is going to be that defense that gives us a really tough time. So I have us losing here to the Browns 9-12. Hideous score. What do you think about this one?
That's such a tough score to get to, but
It's
I love it
brutal.
though. I love it though. I think that they lose against the Bengals because the Bengals offense is really good, but they lose here against the Browns because of how good the Browns defense is. This is going to be the hardest defense that Jayden has played so far. I think it's going to be a good learning experience, but I think it's going to be really tough for him. I think that the Browns take this one 24-13. Let us know down below what you think the Commanders' record is going to be by the end of the season.
For sure. So week 6, talked about this last episode when we were going over the Ravens schedule. So just a bit of a reminder, won't go into any real depth here, but I've got the Commanders dropping this one 24-38. Tyler has this score as 20-27, so we both have the Ravens winning this game. Moving on to week 7, we're going to be playing the Panthers. It's going to be a afternoon game, 4 o'clock slate. I have the Commanders squeaking out a win here, 35-31. I think Bryce Young is going to come out. He's going to be much improved. I've seen that over the course of the offseason. He's put on some weight. He's got some new targets with Xavier Legette, refined offensive line here. So I think the Panthers are going to come out and be a different team than they were last year. They're going to be more competitive, but I'm not sure if it's going to be quite enough to stick up with the Commanders and all the renovations we've done over the course of this offseason. What do you have to say about it?
Yeah, this is a tough one for you because Xavier Legette goes to the Panthers. We want him to have a great season, but I don't know. I want to believe in the Panthers so much. I was ready to put the Panthers receivers at the top of our NFC wide receiver tier list. That episode's out now, so make sure to go check that out as well. I was ready to put them up top, and we ended up putting them pretty low. I think that it's going to be a low scoring game, 21-17. Back and forth, back and forth. I think the Commanders get another win here and just continue a really good season that Jayden Daniels had started. Offensive Rookie of the Year incoming.
Yeah, no doubt. So moving on to week 8, we're going to be playing the Bears. Washington and Chicago has had quite the recent history on these Thursday night games. They are notorious for having some hideous games, whether it's DJ Moore absolutely exploding, going off for crazy fantasy points, or whether it's just the most ugly game of football you've seen in the 21st century. We are notorious for playing the Bears ugly, and the Bears are notorious for playing the commies ugly. Um, I don't think much changes this year, even though we both have new quarterbacks, more refined teams. I think after we squeaked out a win against the Bears this previous season, I think the Bears are going to squeak out a win against us. I think Caleb Williams, the number 1 overall pick, just edges out the number 2 overall pick, and the Bears end up getting the win here 23-20.
How this game is in primetime Monday Night Football, Sunday Night Football, I don't know. Number 1 versus number 2 overall pick going up against each other. The weapons are there for the Bears. I mean, DJ Moore, get Keenan Allen, take a receiver right at number 9 when they could have done so many other things. Roma Dunze. I don't know. It seems like the Bears are just could go on a tear, but I'm taking the Commanders here. I think Jayden Daniels shows why he's the offensive rookie of the year. He beats Caleb Williams 27-17. The Commanders put together a good performance.
I hope you're right. I really hope you're right. Moving on to week 9, we're going to be at the Giants, another 1 o'clock game. Typically, we always play the Giants close, another divisional rival. It's just going to be a tough game every single time. Just because we're at the Giants, we're going to be in Jersey. I've got us losing this in a close game, 17-20.
At this point in the season, the Giants trying to figure it out without Saquon. They think that they do. They score 16 points in this game, which is enough to beat the Commanders 16-13. I think it's going to be a really close game. I think it's going to be back and forth. I think it's going to be an ugly one. The Giants do get a win here, but not by much.
Yeah, so it looks like we agree on that one. Moving on to week 10, the third 1 o'clock game in a row is this time it's going to be against the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think coming off of back-to-back losses, Jayden Daniels and company is going to bounce back. It's not going to be a pretty win, but we'll get the win regardless. It's going to be 17-13 against the Steelers.
No, it's not going to be a pretty win. The Steelers are going to be a tough team to watch this year due to the quarterback situation, lack of explosive plays, and I think because of those two reasons, the Commanders get this win. I agree with you 100%. Low scoring 16-10. I think it's tough to get points on this day in Washington. Maybe it's rainy or something. Maybe that's why, but I think it's going to be a low scoring one.
All right, on to week 11 here. We're going to be at the Eagles, Thursday night football primetime game. The Commanders have been notorious for playing the Eagles close, no matter how much the skill difference is, how much the record difference is over the last few years. I think that this game is going to be no different. I think the Commies have the Eagles' number for the most part. In this game, it's just not going to be quite enough. I have us dropping this game 20-24.
Prime time under the lights once again. Time for Jayden Daniels to make his name as he has gotten more comfortable in this offense, more comfortable as a starting NFL quarterback. Here's the game where Emmanuel Forbes pops out. We need him at this point against the Eagles with the weapons that they have. Emmanuel Forbes needs a big game. This is the game he gets an interception, calling it right now. And that's the reason that they win the game 31-24. I don't want to sound too crazy. If it was a pick six to win the game, but he gets an interception at the least. That's my prediction. Emmanuel Forbes interception, and that's the reason that they win this game.
I think Emmanuel Forbes is benched at this point. Man looks like Doodle Bob with those skinny legs, man.
He
I
is
don't know
skinny.
what you're
He is
talking
skinny.
about.
But
Anyways, after week 11, I have the Commanders record at 5-6. Tyler has them at 7-4, looking way more optimistic, looking like he's the real Commanders fan here. Anyways, moving on to week 12, we've got the Cowboys 1 o'clock game. Cowboys have our number. They've had our number. I don't really see that changing this year. I've got us dropping this one 20-30.
I think this is a tough one after a hard fought win the week before against the Eagles. I think it's going to be hard to come back and get a win here against the Cowboys. I think that the Cowboys do take this one 24-17. The Cowboys are so good all around. I think that the Cowboys do take this one, especially at home. They're almost unbeatable at Jerry World.
Seems to be that way for sure. Very unfortunate for us. But moving on to week 13, maybe our odds will shift. We're going to be playing the Titans at home 1 o'clock. I think after having them lose 2 games in a row to 2 divisional opponents, we're going to bounce back at a win here, 27-20 against the Titans. I'm not sure Will Levis has what it takes to be an elite starting quarterback in the NFL, especially not. I don't see the potential in Levis as I do with Jayden Daniels, especially after losing Derrick Henry to your Ravens. Now they have Tony Pollard. It's just not a one-to-one replacement at all. I don't see them being able to keep up with the Commanders. So for that reason, I have the Titans losing. Commanders winning 27-20.
Yeah, they have a chance to be explosive on offense. Calvin Ridley, D Hop, and Tyler Boyd. Their offense has potential, but do we believe in Will Levis? Not a whole lot. It's going to be tight, 21-20. Commanders do win. I think that has potential for a fun one though.
Yeah, no doubt. Week 14, we've got a bye, so we have a little bit of time to regroup. Get a really good game plan together going into week 15 at the Saints. NFC South, obviously one of the weakest divisions in the NFL. Not really seeing a whole lot of improvement with the Saints. However, this will be a revenge game for Chase Young. So we'll have to see if that has any that plays any factor into this game at all. For me, I don't think it really does. I'm not sure if Chase Young is going to have it. I bet his motor will be on for that whole game, so I bet he'll be more productive in this game than he will in majority of other games throughout the course of the season. But I don't see it being enough to stop the Commanders from getting a win here, 31-28.
Yeah, I think at this point in the season, it's going to be the Saints, the Falcons, the Bucks. They're all going to be in contention to win the division. They're all going to be really close to 500, maybe even below. I think the Saints scratch this one out and they do get a win. I think it's really close though, 21-17. I could see this one going either way, but maybe the Saints will pull one out here to try to get in the playoff race.
It's really optimistic of you. Didn't know you were a Saints fan. Interesting. Anyways,
Hooday.
moving on to week 16. We're going to be playing the Philadelphia Eagles at home. No matter how bad we've been, we always seem to be able to squeak one win out against the Eagles. And here we are, week 16, getting towards the end of the season. Philly should be heating up, getting ready for the playoffs. I think this is going to be a bounce back season for them, but this is going to be a bounce back season for Washington as well. I think it's going to be a nail biter. It's going to come down to the end, but I have the Commanders winning this game 28-27.
I like it. I like it. As divisional game, you never know. It has to be close. Like
Never
they
know.
just always are. I do think that the Eagles take this one though. I think that that puts me at 1-1 for the Commanders Eagles this season. They each take one. 31-24, pretty close still, but I do think the Eagles take this one. Just to end up no interception from Emmanuel Forbes in this one, and maybe that's the difference.
Week 17, the penultimate game of the season. We're going to be playing the Falcons. Another revenge game. We got the Kirk Cousins revenge game. That's going to be scary. And especially with a new offensive scheme, obviously, new quarterback at the helm. You got a lot of receivers, a lot of weapons on that offense that are looking to get some usage. And I think Kirk Cousins is going to be the distributor for that. I think he's going to be the plug. And for that reason, I think the Falcons are going to end up being able to surpass the Commanders here, winning 27-21.
Yeah, I'm flip flopping on this one back and forth because I think Kirk's going to be really good. I think the Falcons are going to be a lot better than they were last season. I think Bijan over 1,000 yards, Drake London first season over 1,000 yards. I'm not sure what we're going to get from their defense though, and I think Jayden figures it out enough. 31-27, high scoring game. Kirk's throwing the ball, Jayden's throwing the ball. Maybe an Austin Eckler touchdown in there. I don't know. But I think the Commanders do get this one, and they show Kirk that they're okay without him.
Wouldn't hate it. Definitely wouldn't hate it.
You like
All right,
that?
last game of the season. Going down to Jerry World. That's a tough way to end the season. What a tough way to end the season, man. You really hate to see it. Um, I don't really see the outcome being that different. I think Jerry has our number. He's been around the block. He knows Washington. He knows he wants to beat Washington. He can't get a playoff win, but I've got the Cowboys winning here 35-17.
This could be a massive game. I think everybody does that at this point. The Cowboys will probably be in maybe a wild card, maybe fighting it out between them and the Eagles. But I think that there's a chance here, based off my prediction, which I assume is going to be extremely accurate, that this game could be to get into the playoffs for the Commanders. And I think that they show that Jerry World, you can win there. 24-20, a super tight one. And this game, at the end of the season, cements Jayden Daniels Offensive Rookie of the Year. I think it's no brainer. Commanders make the playoffs for the first time in I don't know how long, maybe since Kirk Cousins. Caleb Williams does not make the playoffs. It makes it a super obvious choice. Why not? Give me the Commanders here, 24-20 in Jerry World. Shocking the world.
I love your fairy tale land. That sounds fantastic.
Got to be
And just as a
optimistic.
reminder, the Commanders made it to the playoffs when Tom Brady won the Super Bowl with the Buccaneers because we gave him the closest game out of any game that he played in that offseason.
With Taylor
So
Heineke?
with Taylor Heineke, absolutely. That was the one where he had the diving touchdown
Yeah.
into the end zone. Yeah,
I remember that. That's the only
great
play I
game.
remember from that game.
Great game. Couldn't even be mad about that loss. I was like, we left it all on the field. Couldn't even be mad. But no, I think that this puts us in really close contention for a wild card spot. Regardless of whether or not we make it into the playoffs, I think this is a huge step forward for the franchise as a whole this season. Definitely a big step up from having the number 2 pick. So I'm really looking forward to it. Obviously, I think yours is a bit more optimistic. I would like to think mine's a little more realistic, but you never know. Maybe we could, only end up with 4 or 5 wins again, and then we both sit here and look stupid. But I think with enough sleepless nights, the countless hours we've put into this, I think our projections should end up being pretty realistic.
Yeah, I agree. You finishing up at an 8-9, right around 500. Double digit wins for me, 10-7. Honestly, I'm really curious what you guys think. Make sure to leave a comment down below. Let us know what you think the record's going to be. I feel like I'm optimistic on what the Commanders can do this season. Austin Eckler, I think, could be pretty good, pretty solid piece. Terry McLaurin, another 1,000-yard season. Jahan Dotson, we expect him to just keep getting better. And Jayden Daniels, obviously the highlight of all this. Maybe I have too much optimism. That's why I'm so curious. So definitely leave a comment down below. Let us know what you think, because I want to know. I want to know where I am on the gauge.
Absolutely. Well, like Tyler said, y'all like, subscribe. Make sure to let us know what you want to see. Let us know your thoughts, and we'll catch y'all in the next one.